again with another video. Sorry, it's been a few days since I made my last video, but I have been getting plenty of questions, and of course, people have been waiting for the next video. So I had to think of something good to talk about today, and actually, I think I have the right topic. Just actually, this week I've gotten a lot of questions, and it's been pretty much probably the same type of questions. Okay, and today, what we're going to talk about is which bosses to focus on and which bosses I recommend you use as far as your main bosses. Okay, so let's start by just going over a little bit of information here. First of all, I know everybody's getting ready for the new updates that we're supposed to have coming. We're going to get a new game mode coming next month. We already heard that it's going to be similar to Castle Clashes, HBM, which is Here Be Monsters. It's probably going to be called Here Be Mobsters, but it's not confirmed yet. We don't know all the mechanics of it yet, but if you have played Castle Clash, you are pretty familiar with how that works. Okay, so that's something we're looking forward to see how that's going to be implemented into the game. And also, we're getting a new boss come next month, probably around Valentine's Day, which is supposed to be similar to Cupid in Castle Clash as well. So members that already know this information or has heard about it are getting ready for it. So I just want to make sure that all my subscribers are listening and you are aware of that. So if you have gold or if you're looking to start rolling for bosses, you may want to hold out, wait a couple of weeks until the new boss is released, and wait for the new game modes. Okay, just something to think about. Now, if you're not in that situation, and let's say you're a person that don't maybe try to be free to play mostly or don't use a lot of money in these games, that's cool. We're going to talk about which bosses I recommend you use, and I'll go over some of the whys and why nots. Okay, and we'll talk about that. So first, if you don't have full legend team, okay, we talk about legends all the time. So I'm not going to talk about legends most. I'm going to talk about legends and elite bosses because those are the only two that I'm going to recommend you use. If you only have ordinaries, then you're definitely doing something wrong. Just the maintenance goal, you should have at least some elite bosses. Okay, hopefully you have some legendaries. Okay, so now let's talk about bosses. So we already know, most people know the hardest bosses to get are Luna and Father Grim, as far as the ones that you actually can roll for. Roll for. Okay, Pummel and Little Biz, those are just you have to pay them a certain amount to get those. So we're not going to really talk about those. Okay, we're going to talk about the ones that you can actually roll for and win. So Lona and Father Grim are the hardest two to get. Okay, for most people. So what I recommend is this: if you have, let's say you have all the bosses you can roll for. Of course, if you have Father Grim, he's a must-have boss in your lineup. Okay, if you don't have Lona, that's cool. If you have Lona, she's a number two boss. So Father Grim and Lona, if you have those two. Okay, next in line would be Honey Bunny. I'm gonna go Father Grim, Lona, Honey Bunny. The reason for the reason for Grim, of course, he provides the heals. Everybody knows that he's good in Fight Club and raiding. Okay, Lona, Fight Club and raiding because she provides a buff to all your bosses. Okay, she provides an attack speed buff, and also let's just go in here and let me show you guys. Okay, just so if you don't know, I'll show you real quick. I can't do it on this account, so no problem. I'll show you on my main. Okay, don't worry about this. Just follow along here. So the reason Lona is important is because of this. She increases your attack rate, and move speed of all your allies by 30. Well, by what? By a certain percentage for a certain amount of time, depending on what skill level you have her at. So this will be the second most important boss next to Father Grim out of the bosses that you can actually roll for. Okay, Lona. All right. After Lona, I would go Honey Bunny, which is right here. The reason for Honey Bunny is because her Fight Club. She's going to give you an advantage in Fight Club. If you battle someone with Honey Bunny, I have done this before. Just for my free to play account, I have three legends. I battle teams that just have her, and they beat me because her skill procs, it hits like a truck. It takes all the freaking. It's amazing. You have to use Honey Bunny in the freaking Fight Club. If you get her, you definitely want to use her. Definitely don't think she's. I remember when I first started playing the game, I had two Honey Bunnies and I consumed them because I thought she was sucky. Do not do that. She is the most important boss when it comes to Fight Club winning. You will not see a top player, anybody in the top 10, win without having Honey Bunny on their team. Okay, so remember that. You got to have her for Fight Club. After Honey Bunny, now we start getting to different scenarios. Okay, if you have Teddy Squeeze, you want to definitely focus on him because of his stun ability, and I'll show you that. He strikes random target, dealing 320 damage and inflicting coma. The coma, he stuns targets, and this is across the map. So if you're in Fight Club on one lane, if he procs, he can stun you in any lane in the Fight Club. Okay, same goes for a raid. He can hit. He's an AOE boss. He can hit targets across the map. Okay, so you definitely want to focus on him. All right, and then next after Teddy, personally, and this one is up for debate. You can do this or not. I personally recommend everyone that has a corruption level corruption up. I'm sure if you roll for any bosses, you probably have a couple of corruptions because I think he might be the most rolled boss out of all of them. Okay, make sure if you get a corruption, pick the one with the best talent. I mean, yep, pick the one with the best talent, whatever that is. I mean, mine has second wind 5/5, but a lot of them have brick. Defensive talents work great for him, so pick the one with the best talent and level him up. He will be very useful when you're fighting against opponents that are hard for you to beat head on. You can put corruption in their lane, and he'll slow them down enough so that your other bosses can reach their vehicle and take it down fast. Okay, so make sure you level this guy up. All right, and after corruption, usually I just tell anyone it's up to your choice. It depends on how many bosses you have. You can go Teddy's, you can go excuse me, Pugsy, or you can go Shibo. Okay, either one of these I would say is your decision. Um, I would probably pick the one with the best talent to use. So out of the bosses, I'm gonna go to my order again: Grim, Lona, Honey, Teddy, Corruption, and then between Pugsy and Shibo, you can choose. The reason I say that because Shibo has the highest damage out of all of them. Between him and Lona, they have the highest damage out of all the bosses, and that's why he's useful because it's damage. But Pugs is useful because he has a stun, and it's a 3 second stun to multiple three targets. Okay, so depending on what you need for Fight Club, if you have them, of course, if you have any legends, level them all up. But if it's priority, try to use that priority I just gave you, and for the reasons I just told you. Okay, so that's what I wanted to cover with you guys, basically. Okay, I get a lot of questions about which legendary to level next and which one to should I focus on and this and that. I mean, really, it does depend on what you have. But if you have all the road bosses, that's what you want to do. Those are the ones you want to take to Fight Club. You want to take the raid. Grim, Lona, Honey Bunny, Teddy Squeeze, and then between these two, pick whichever one you want to level. Of course, you can rotate them. I mean, don't forget Corruption, of course, him too. He's before these two. These two are the last two I work on. Okay, and that's just my personal opinion of how I play and looking at people and just looking at the top 10 in Fight Club. Guarantee you won't see these two bosses are the least two bosses used in the top 10 in Fight Club. All these others you'll see plenty of them. Okay, we're not going to talk about Pummel or Little Biz because those are paid bosses, so we're not worried about those. You get those are must use bosses if you have them, so we're not going to cover those. Okay, now now that we covered the legendaries, and of course, if I went too fast or if you missed something, just hit me up. Okay, hit me up on the video, comment on it, or I prefer you not to hit me up in the game in game chat. You can download the application called Line. It's easy to reach me on there, and it's a lot simpler to use. Okay, and that's spelled Line. It's an app. You can go on the Google Play Store and download it. Look me up, TMizzle, add me as a friend, and ask me questions there. Okay, it's a lot simpler. Now, if you don't have all those legends, use the top three that you have, like I told you, or I said top three like you're gonna have three, but use the ones that you have. For instance, this is my plate free to play account. Okay, the one I just pretty much play it the way it goes. Use a free go for maintenance. I have Grim, Teddy Squeeze, and Pugsy. Okay, now a lot of people hit me up, ask me who should I use if I don't have a full team of legendary bosses. You need six for Fight Club. So I'm going to tell you my personal preferences and why I chose those. So I use these three, of course, my three legendaries, and along with them, I use Pretty Boy, Hazmat, and I like Panda. Okay, those are the three I use with my legendaries, and the reason I use those first, I'm going to tell you the most important to me is Pretty Boy, which I know everybody's probably shocked, but if you have Pretty Boy, you want to use him for Fight Club if you don't have a legendary team, and I'll tell you why. If you read his skill, he has a chance to he inflicts coma to his target. Okay, I have mine at 2-9, and that's for 1 second. I don't know if this increases. I don't know if the 1 second increases. I know the damage does increase as you up the skill. So if I level to 3, I'm assuming it'll probably go to 200, possibly damage, and hopefully the coma it goes up. I'm not sure because I have never seen anybody with a 3-9 Pretty Boy. If you have questions about that, just hit me up. I can find out from the developer. I'm just not sure. I don't want to tell you any bad information. But I like using Pretty Boy because he has that coma. As a matter of fact, if I'm raiding, the one boss that I would not put my Father Grim near is Pretty Boy because he's the one boss out of the elites that will kill my Father Grim every single time almost. And a lot of you guys will probably have the same issue. So my recommendation, if you're raiding and there's a Pretty Boy, do not put your Grim near him because he will stun Grim and actually kill him. Okay, just a hint for you guys raiding. Okay, so that's my next boss I like, and of course Hazmat because he has AOE, he has poison, he poisons the enemy, and a dot. I call it a dot because it does damage over time. Okay, so he is definitely an important boss, not only for Fight Club, but definitely raids. He's the most important. He's one of the most important elite bosses for raiding because of his AOE damage. And AOE means area of attack. That means he can kill multiple targets at once. For instance, like soldier camps, he take out a whole soldier camp with his proc. Okay, so he's very important. So that's who I use as my next boss. And then I like Panda. Of course, Panda is kind of like Hazmat. She does damage to all surrounding bosses as well. She can kill a whole soldier camp at once. So I like to use her in Fight Club. So those are my five. I'll use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 as my Fight Club team. Okay. Now, as you can see, I have all the rest of the elites, so I can use any of them. But these are the ones I chose to level and the ones I chose to work on. All right. And I gave you the reasons why. If you have multiples, use the one with the best talent. And what that means is, for instance, look at this Panda. She has a 3-5 Intimidate. Okay. Now I have a couple of other pandas. I think here's the one right here that has a 1-5 flex. Because this is a 1-5, of course I'm not using it. I'm going to use the one with the 3-5. The 3-5. Make sure you look at the talents on the boss and decide which one is the best. If you have trouble with that, that's easy. You can make sure you ask me or anybody else you think might know. There's a list of talents, and all you have to do is go to clashofgangs.com, and there's a talent list. If you don't know what a talent means, just go there and read it, or of course the talent tells you what it does. Okay, there are other resources out there for you if you don't know, but you can always ask one of one of your player friends or whatever. All right, now that we covered that, now I'm hoping that if you've been playing the game, you should have at least some of those bosses I talked about. But those are the ones I would recommend using if you don't have a full legendary team and you need to have elites mixed in. Pretty Boy, Hazmat, Panda are great non-elite bosses to use in Fight Club. Okay. Now, one thing you need to realize, if you are a player who is kind of low level like this free-to-play account I'm using, as you notice, probably as you notice, look at my bar, and I'm gonna go back in here. I have 96 level boss, 94, and an 87, and I have 80, 80, 60, 60. Well, the reason being is, and this is something that a lot of players don't understand. At this level in the game, I am not able to get that much street credit, so it takes me a long time to build it up. Right now, my main focus is Father Grimm, Teddy Squeeze, and Pugsy. When these guys hit level 100, which will not be long, they're going to need 30,000 street credit to be upgraded to the next to 6-star bosses. Therefore, I have 30,000 now. Only one boss. Right now, I can only upgrade one of them. And as you see, I have two that's going to be level 100 within the next couple of days. So I'm not wasting my street credit on a level 80 elite boss or a level 60 elite boss. I'm saving it for these three main bosses that I know are going to be good top end. That means the end of the game. These are going to be good bosses for an end game. Do not waste street credit on elite bosses if you have legendary bosses. And let me explain that a little bit further because some people might not understand. If you know that you don't have that much, like myself on this account, and you see you're going to have a legendary about to get hit that next level, hold off on upgrading one of these elite bosses. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I would not upgrade another boss unless he's a legendary. I'm gonna do Father Grimm. Next, I'm gonna do Teddy Squeeze, and then I'm gonna do Pugsy. After I get all these guys past level 100, then if I haven't rolled another legendary, then I'm gonna be my next one. I'll be honest, my next boss will be between Pretty Boy and Hazmat. I'll probably pick Pretty Boy only because I like his stun in Fight Club. Okay, I'm hoping I get another legendary before then, like Corruption or either Honey Bunny if I get lucky. But I would not be spending my street credit on these bosses since I have these three legendaries. Okay, these would take me to where I need to go in the game, and it will pay off in the end. Now, once I get these guys over a level 100, because 100 to 120 is going to be long road, I would then go back, and if I can save enough, I would probably, if I don't get another legendary, I'll take these guys up. Okay, of course, if you get another legendary, then you're gonna have to use that street credit to raise him up to catch up to these guys. So that's why you want to be careful with your street credit, guys. If you're in a situation where you know you're not making about 100 or 90 or 100 street credit an hour, you cannot afford to spend it on every little elite boss you get. You have to be smart about it. You have to plan it out. So that's how I'm working my account. Just try to help you guys out on yours. Hopefully that'll help you understand a little bit more about the game. Okay, so that's what I want to focus this particular video on, is just your bosses and how to pick them as far as your main 5 team. Now, if you don't have any freaking legendaries, then you're in a very unfortunate situation. And of course, you just pretty much pick the ones that have the best talents. Make sure you include the three that I told you, because you want Pretty Boy, Hazmat, and Panda. Definitely hope you got at least those three. You want those on your team. After that, I really don't care the other two that you pick. It's up to you. Just hope that you only have one, two, three, four. So pick the two with the best talents. Okay, always look at talents. Those are very important. Okay, I'm gonna talk about more talents later, but this video is already like 18 minutes long. It's gonna be a pretty long video, so I want to make sure people understand when it's come to picking bosses. You need to be careful what you pick and what you work on. Now, when it comes to street credit, that applies to legendaries too. If you have main legendaries that I just talked to you about, like upgrading, prioritize your street credit. You're not making a lot, so I don't know. It's probably taking me a week or 2 weeks to get this amount right here. So when I upgrade my first boss to level past level 100, I'm not going to get another one for a while. Okay, it's going to be another week or so if I can upgrade the next one. Of course, as I level up and go higher in Fight Club, that will change. Okay, like right now, I've gotten pushed back. Okay, I don't know if I'm getting hacked, but I see we have hackers back in the game. I don't know if they're in the Fight Club, but I know I've seen them in raids. Okay, but basically, like I said, Fight Club. This is my setup, and I recommend you guys use this as a guide for when you need to upgrade or when you need to make a decision on which bosses to use. Okay, Pretty Boy has a great stun. Hazmat has great AoE along with Panda. Both of those are great AoE bosses, and you can win Fight Club matches without a doubt. I can get all the way down to the 100s with my team with only three legendaries. Okay, and the rest elites. All right. Now this guy has Honey Bunny, so I don't know how he got way pushed back so far, but like he's gonna beat me because he has. So that guy has three legendary bosses as well, and he beat me as Honey Bunny. Holy smoke, he wiped me out. I didn't even look. But and maybe I made it so far because it was so many hackers in the game. I don't know. Maybe that was the reason. And now I'm getting thrown back because everybody now is legit. Who knows? But just be careful when you pick your talents. I mean your bosses, and if you again if you have questions or you still don't know which bosses to choose, make sure you hit me up. Okay, Facebook, Line app, in game. If you must hit me up in game, I prefer you not to. It's very hard to chat in game, and that's pretty much it, man. I'm going to end the video pretty much on that right there. Um, I'll try to make another. I'm going to try to make videos at least one a day from going forward. Okay, because I know it's been a long time since I made one, and I'm going to focus a lot on just skills and talents and just gameplay and how you can become a little bit better in your gameplay and helping you decide on what bosses to use and what talents. Okay, because actually talents are very big right now, especially with new modes coming out, gangs and stuff. It's gonna be very competitive. So we're gonna definitely dig into the talents a lot coming up in the next couple of videos I do. I'm gonna probably mention it in each and every video from now on, just because there's been a lot of talk about talents and debate going on. Okay, it's so many of them, and honestly, there are a lot of good ones and a lot of um, talents that you want to have on certain player bosses. Okay, so anyway, 20-minute video here, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it on that note. I'll make sure I bring you another video very soon. If you have any questions or anything, make sure you hit me up in the comments. But other than that, that's your boy T Mizzle, and I'm out. Peace.